All right, hey, what's going on? This is Ryan Nickel. Just wanted to go ahead and show you basically a screenshot here, capture of some contracts. I've had a lot of you reach out and ask me about contracts, and in case you're wondering, this is my beautiful family. We took a funny COVID family photo portrait thing last year, so that's my desktop. Anyway, wanted to go ahead and share this with you. So, we're going to go over the contract for a real estate. So this contract here, this is just a basic generic contract, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go over the specifics of every single contract. I'm just going to cover what is needed to know in order for you to succeed when purchasing properties subject to, or when doing some kind of creative financing. So standard contracts work just fine. Just make sure you include these clauses. And before I begin, let me just go ahead and state again that this is only for educational purposes. This is not any kind of real estate advice, contract advice, any kind of legal advice or law, anything like that is not what I am intending to do. This is just for your own information, educational purposes only, and to my disclaimer is for you to seek your own legal, real estate, and financial advice from qualified, competent professionals so that you can be protected in your state, because every state or municipality is different. With that said, let me jump into this and show you what it is that I use in my business. So here we go. I have this contract. It's just a standard contract for purchase of real estate. Obviously, the names, the dates, the sellers, the buyers, all of that. Purchase address, that's the same. Purchase price right here. And then these are where the terms go. Now the terms are going to be dictated upon what it is that you're actually buying and how you're buying it. Again, these are standard prorations, defects, no judgments, possessions. Those are standard inspections, contingencies, risk of loss, acceptance, deposit, your earnest money, closing. All of that is incumbent upon you to put into your own contract based on the state requirements. Now we get to other agreements. Buyer agrees to purchase property in as-is condition. This is true. Buyer to pay all closing costs. Sometimes I split it. It just depends on the situation. Or we'll split it 50-50. I'll pay all of title. They pay all of escrow, etc. Buyer may assign or otherwise transfer buyer's rights, title, and interest to this purchase agreement to the third party without seller's consent. I'll tell you what. I haven't had this in my contracts recently, and same with this one, because I'm buying everything and then flipping them. Like, I'm not putting signs to show property immediately upon acceptance of this contract to both parties, but I have in the past. So for you, whatever you're doing, leave it in there. Up here as well, just so you know, this says buyer, so it says seller whose address is blank, and buyer, that's and or assigned. So it's already right there that it's assigned, that I'm going to be assigning this contract if I'm wholesaling it. So I just put it in here as well that I may assign it. Again, this is not wholesaling advice. I rarely wholesale anymore. I buy everything myself. So, but for you that are taking these properties down subject to, this is what this is all about. It's not about wholesaling. Buyer may put signs in the yard. Okay. In the event of a default, the sole remedy is earnest money deposit. Now here, this is where it is important that you pay attention. So buyer is purchasing property subject to the existing loan. Check yes. Total loan amounts on the property are approximately. Put that dollar amount in there. It does not have to be specific. Just put the dollar amount in. Contract contingent upon buyer finding a suitable tenant for the property. Okay, so if I'm buying this property subject to, and I don't have any of my own cash, or I don't have very limited funds, and I don't want to be on the hook for this mortgage. Now, I'm going to say this to the person. So again, you have to dive deep into understanding what is their problem. Like, what is their financial situation that is going to make this agreement here so attractive that they're not going to care that you have buyers going to sign it or buyers going to place signs to show the property. They're not going to care because they're in such dire situations that they just need you to alleviate their pain by taking their mortgage from them. Like, that's the whole key here. So if you can dig deep enough and find what that problem is and then resolve it, you're golden. So these things don't even matter in a contract because you're solving their problem to such a degree that they're just like thanking you profusely as you go through this process. So if this were me and I had limited funds and I was going to be able to buy this property by taking over their existing mortgage, and I knew that I didn't want to be on the hook for a couple of months paying a mortgage that I could not afford or that I didn't want to afford, this is what I would do. I would tell the seller, and I would say, look, you know what? obviously I'm not going to move into this house. This is an investment for me. I'm trying to help you out of your situation. And at the same time, I need to make sure that it's going to be a suitable one for me. I need to know that the market likes this property. So in order for me to take on this debt, to take over these payments, and to make sure that it's going to be a win-win situation for both of us, I need to know that I have someone that's going to be ready to move in and willing day one to start making those payments so that there's no hiccup in this situation here. And that's usually what I say to them. And they're like, sounds great to me. I said, so with that, if the property is vacant, I'm going to put a lockbox on it. I'm going to start showing it to potential individuals that want to buy this property. So this is how this goes. They don't care. Now, if they're living in the property and they're moving away, then I say, you know what, I'm going to work around your schedule. I just need to make sure that when you move out, that there's no missed payments that are going to happen. And so I want to make sure that we're able to have a seamless transition. And again, they're willing to work with you. I've done this where I've never even seen the property. Even to this day, I own some properties that I've never even seen. The seller walked people through, did the showings and all of that, and then told me, it's funny, they told me exactly who they liked. Like, I like this person. They're really good. They asked a lot of good questions. And of course, I'm not going to go based only on that, but it ended up being that was the situation that we actually went with that person because their application was the best application. So with that said, sellers are really motivated to work with you, and this is a great opportunity for you. So this is the contract that I use. I make this contract also available. If you want to get a copy of this contract, you can just go over to bootstraprei.com. It takes you right here to this page here, and this is basically, this is me walking you through how to find properties, driving for dollars. This is a 4-part series here. It's absolutely free. You sign up for it. You do get my contracts, but what I do is I walk you through how I found a property, driving for dollars. Literally, I found this property. I go back, I look up this person, I find their information. I have a phone call. It's all recorded. You get to see, like, from start to finish how this works. So I find the property. I then go and contact the property or the owner. I then go through and walk the property. I evaluate the property, and then I'm sitting down and it's actually at a restaurant, so it's kind of a little bit noisy, but you can hear the conversation with her. I'm walking her through how this is going to work, and we sign the contract right there at the restaurant, and bam, you have all access to that, so you can hear the nuances, what's happening in the conversation, how all of that goes. And I give you the contracts as part of this thing. Like I said, it's completely free. If you want this contract, go sign up for it. It's there. If you don't, that's okay. Use your contract that you have, and then make sure that you just have at least this part that you're buying the property subject to, and the total loan amount, and then of course, I actually don't even really need to. This is your escape clause if if it's an absolute completely horrible property that no one wants to invest in or take the time to go on this journey with you, then obviously you're going to back out of the situation because it's just it is what it is, or go back and renegotiate different terms. So this is the most important thing. I also put up here as well in the terms, I just put buyer takeover mortgage balance approximately blank and payment blank. Be careful not to use the word assume. You are not assuming this mortgage. You're just taking over payments for them. You're just stepping in their place to make the payments, but you are not you're not liable for this debt. They're still liable for it. It's still on their credit report. It's still going to be reporting. You're just taking over payments to help them out of the situation. Okay, so that is on the buy side. So you want to get this information? Bam, here you go. Go ahead and grab it right here. And this is the buy side. Now, let's go ahead and take a break here. So let's go. All right, clean slate. Let's come back. You have a property. And now what do you want to do is you want to sell it. And you can sell it one of two ways. You can sell it on well, actually I take that back. You can only sell it one way. And that way is well, basically it's a contract for deed. You can sell it outright for cash, but that defeats the purpose of this whole subject to thing. But what happens if someone doesn't have the full amount of money? So what I require is a minimum of 10% down. You have to have 10% down, but what happens if they don't have 10%? Well, then I'm going to be doing a lease with an option to purchase. And let me go ahead and show you that here. Oh, look at that, I missed a call here. I'm not going to call them. So this is for reference purposes only. This is a real simplified version. It's just a one-page document here. Contract for sale of real property. It's really... This particular document here doesn't have all the teeth and legal stuff that you would need in a document to really go to arbitration or court and stuff like that. So I have used this document. In fact, I just sold a house using this document, but They had been in this house for about 3 years now, and they cashed me out. I don't use this document per se anymore. I use a little bit one that an attorney has drafted up that's about 5 pages longer. This is just like a single page. This is like a quick down and dirty, but it's going to give you enough of the details to get a rough idea of what it is. If you're interested in getting our exact contracts, then you're going to have to come to our training programs and get that. But for educational purposes, this will give you what you need. And it's important to know that. So, oh, hang on. This is the actual contract, and this is a lease agreement. So let's say that they don't have the full amount. Let's go with this one. So you can use any lease agreement you want to have. The most important thing is that you have something that specifies that this is a lease with an option to purchase. These are special stipulations. So basically what happened is we're giving you a down payment. It's non-refundable. And the property comes furnished with whatever. Most of my properties come with washer, dryer. Sometimes they come with fridges and stoves. Actually, they all come with stoves, but sometimes they come with fridges. So we put that in there as well. I know other guys that what they'll do is they'll charge for that, like a rental fee, $25 a month. For me, I'm charging a premium of rent already, so I'm not going to be doing that. But here you go. These are some of the special stipulations that have to be. They don't have to be, but these are what we have in our lease with options to purchase. Or these lease purchase agreements, if you want to call them that. So we have here, the tenant's going to be leasing the property with the intent of purchasing it. Purchase price is X, so it's established up front. The lease agreement is for 1 year, and the property is being leased and sold as is. We're not making any warranties or repairs. Tenants are responsible for all maintenance, upkeep, and repairs. Make sure that that is in there. Deposit, down payment, so we don't use deposit. They commonly refer to it as deposit. We tell them it's not a deposit, it's a down payment. It's non-refundable. In fact, you can just take this deposit right out. I don't even like to use the word deposit. This is probably an old template that we've used. Tenants will pay a monthly fee for taxes and insurance. Any amount paid over X amount of dollars, whatever we agree upon, will be applied toward the down payment. So let's say the monthly payment is $1,500 and they want to pay $1,500. Excuse me, the monthly payment is $1,300 and they want to pay $1,500. We're going to give them a $200 credit. And that $200 or $2,400 a year is going to go towards their down payment. Their down payment that they have to get to in order to convert to owner financing or seller financing. Tenants must have paid X, so there has to be some kind of money exchanged by a certain date in order to move in the property. Usually that's right here. Or if it's just partial, so sometimes they're like, hey man, I want to hold this property for me. So they'll give me $5,000 and then they're going to come back and they're going to give me another another $5,000 to make it $10,000 total. So they either have to pay another $5,000 or actually I put the total amount here. They have to pay $10,000 total by this date, including what's up here, to move into the property. Tenants begin to occupy the property on such and such date. Tenant's payment, whatever that is, so in this case I said $1,300, it's due by the first of every month. Checks are made out to, this is definitely an old template, because they definitely do not maybe made out to me anymore. I carry everything in a trust, so it's either made out to the trust, or it's made to me as agent, or actually, today I don't even collect the money anymore. They automatically go right into my checking account. They automatically do direct deposits. So we're not handling funds anymore. It's automatically direct deposited into the account. Tenant needs, so let's say it's a $20,000 down payment to be seller finance and they've put 10 down. They're going to need another $10,000 more to convert to owner financing. Tenant has been advised to seek credit repair to enhance the process of being able to obtain financing through a bank or lending institution. We have to put that in there just because Dodd-Frank makes sure that we're not being predatory or anything like that, that they have the ability to get their own loan if they want to. We're not forcing them into our situation. Here's our mailing address, and they sign it. So this is the most important thing that you have to have in your contracts, in my opinion, when it comes to leases with options to purchase. You have to stipulate what the purchase price is, what the payments are, how much to convert it, so that everyone's on the same page and they're working towards this common goal. And they're working hard. I mean, I have several families that it's taken them 4 or 5 years to get to where they need to go. And so what we do is I have another lease agreement that we use, and like especially right now, market is on fire. So we only do 12-month leases, and then what we do is we increase it 10%. So we want them to feel the squeeze a little bit because we want them to get the money in to do a down payment conversion, but we also want to make sure that we're capturing, fair market rents. Because if they're going to sit in the property and then expect us to carry that for them, we're going to treat them as as renters per se. That they're going to be subject to rent increases because that's just what happens. So we do that on this. So let's say they get to the point they're like, hey, here's a $20,000. Let's go ahead and convert this over to seller financing. What can we do? Well, then we come into our next agreement here, which is the contract for real estate. And It's just a simple no-nonsense agreement. Basically, the contract is made between the seller and the buyer for this property address. Here's the APN, so there's no confusion on it. Purchase price is X, and we've already received this amount of money. So let's just say it's a $200,000 house. We've requested 10% down, which is $20,000. So, we're buying it for $200,000. Seller has now received $20,000. The balance of $180,000 shall be payable at whatever this dollar amount is at this interest rate. And so what we're doing is we tell them, hey, look, this is going to be your monthly payment, more principal and interest, and then this is the interest rate, and it's due on the first of the month. There's a $100 late charge if it's more than 5 days late, so the grace period. We let them know the underlying mortgage is is not an adjustable rate mortgage and subject to annual increases or decreases. So we do have some arms. We've taken over some mortgages that are adjustable rate mortgages, and we just pass it on. If it's increased or if it's decreased, that's theirs. Like, hey, you know what? The mortgage does go up, it does go down. You can reap the benefits of it in a declining market, or you're going to have to suck it up and be an owner and have a monthly increase. So we let them know that. This is an old template as well, obviously, because we don't use this anymore. One thing that I did notice is that when we started using this, they were asking us, like, what's the term? So we added in here, I guess it's a different one that we added in here, the annual term. So paid in full, until paid in full, per year for 480 months. That's a 40-year mortgage. So we put that in here. Or until paid in full. So just so that they know exactly, we give an amortization chart as well. If the buyer fails to pay, this is important here. So if the buyer fails to pay, payment due within 30 days, he shall be deemed in default. Upon default, the seller herein can issue a notice of default, and if the buyer does not cure the default by paying all sums due within 10 days, then the default becomes final, and the buyer will lose all rights under this contract of sale, and the seller will retain all monies paid. So do this in accordance with your state. I'm currently in California, and 30 days is not a just time for a default on a property. It's actually 120 days, believe it or not. But there's some gray area here. Again, talk to your financial, legal consultant, advisor, whatever it is. Is this really, technically it is a sale, but it's not recorded on title. And if it's not recorded on title, then you don't have clouded title, which means you don't have to go through with the foreclosure process. You can actually go through an eviction. Again, that is not legal advice. That is a qualified opinion from my attorney, who said, let's go ahead and roll this one and see what the judge says. And we've gone through, and it actually was the buyer never said, I'm buying this property, I have equitable interest. That's the key you gotta be careful for. They say, I have equitable interest, then the judge has the right to go, well, let's see here. This is a purchase. This is a disguised purchase. Throw this out of here. And then you have to go through the foreclosure process. So usually when that happens, we've just gone through a cash for keys situation where we just give them cash for keys. Like, hey, well, you know what? Sorry, things aren't working out. We've tried to work with you several months now. This isn't happening. So let's just go ahead and just, here's some money, move on your way, kind of a thing. I think that's the only situation that's the only solution that we've come to over the years, is that we've just given them money to move, cash for keys. It's just been the easiest, cleanest way to get the property back. And then, of course, they sign some documentation saying, I now release any obligations to the seller for this property because of the money received. Here we go. So number 3, buyer to pay a monthly property taxes and insurance, whatever that is. So on top of this dollar amount here, there's also a taxes and insurance here. Seller to pay... So per month of the annual rate. So the seller to notify of any increases to property taxes or the insurance within 30 days of writing. So definitely we do that. Buyers are also, this is important, they are encouraged to get renter's insurance, because what happens here is because they are not on title, it's very difficult. They are not going to be able to get homeowner's insurance. Technically, they have homeowner's insurance because it's their property, so they can buy it and they can be insurable on it. But what's going to happen is, because the title is not in their name, they're not going to be... their homeowner's insurance, it depends on the insurance policy. You can it's probably a little bit more advanced. You can have them work that out. But we have it had both ways with different carriers, where the actual tenant has the homeowner's insurance policy in place. That way they can protect all their belongings, and it's good. It's good to go. And then we go ahead and escrow that payment for them. Or we've had where the property is in a real crazy high risk fire zone where it's just structure value only that's being protected. There's no personal effects of the property that are being protected, and so we encourage them in that situation to get renter's insurance. And this happened recently that one of our properties did burn down, and the tenant buyer in the property did not have renter's insurance, and it was just one of those plans where they just cover structure only, and unfortunately they lost everything, and it was a situation. So I definitely reiterate for them, if they're not able to get a homeowner's policy in their name, or at least as an additional insured on that, to go ahead and get the renter's insurance to cover their personal effects. Okay, buyer acknowledges there's no monthly HOA fees, so that's that. Upon full payment, seller shall deliver this property free and clear of all liens, encumbrances. Buyer shall take title to the property subject to real estate taxes not yet due, covenants, conditions, restrictions, reservations, rights, right-of-way easements, blah, 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 all that stuff. So you got to make sure that you have the ability to pay off this mortgage. So if they're cashing you out, you're taking that money, you're cashing out that, do not sell a property for less than what you owe on it. It's going to come back and bite you. I guarantee it. If you think you're going to do that because you're going to pay down the mortgage and accelerate it, you're running a very, very, very risky ship to do that. And then number 5, property again is being sold as is. The buyer acknowledges inspecting and improving the existing condition, and not taking the seller's word for anything or holding him liable for anything not disclosed, whether intentional or not. Buyer acknowledges that they are responsible for all repairs, upkeep, maintenance of the property. So there it is, black and white. This is, I read this one verbatim because it's a short one, but it gives you an idea of what needs to be in your contracts. It depends on what state you are. These contract for sale of real property. It can be a contract for deed, agreement for deed, bond for title. There's a bunch of different names for the exact same concept, and this is what this is. So I had many of you reach out, and I just had, over the several months, I just had someone just reach out recently and ask me, like, hey, what do you do? So now you know this is the contract that I use to buy. And then depends on the seller's, or excuse me, the buyer's situation. I'll either use a contract for for deed, for lack of a better term, if they have the full down payment, or I will do a lease with an option to purchase, or a lease agreement with the stipulations that they are buying the property. Because either way, I do not want to be responsible for any of the monthly payments, taxes, increases, repairs, any of that stuff. That's all on them, and that's why I do what I do. So with that said, if you're wanting to get more information, just hop on over to my YouTube channel here. I got a playlist here, so just go to it's youtube.com, search for Bootstrap REI, go to playlists, and you're going to see right here it's live skinny deal profits training. I have 115 videos here. All right, we don't want that playing, we don't want that commercial. So you can see I have here 115 videos. We're going to go through in great detail. I mean, people that, I don't even know why the hell, what is this, your Rancher book? And these should not be there. Delete, delete, and delete. There you go. 109 videos, 112, I guess. So on this playlist, this is like, I'm going through just about everything that you need to know in a deep dive situation here, and this is my gift to you for free. I charge people $5,000 to be in the room to learn this information, and this is, I put this back because of COVID. I wanted to help out, and it's still there. Okay, I don't know what the hell this is all about. Obviously, I haven't been in here to review. So, okay. So if that's what you want, this information is here. It's available for you. And if you want more information, well, hey, reach out to me and join one of my coaching programs. But honestly, you don't have to do that. Because between here, one of the contracts, and then here, and then what I just showed you, you should be able to get everything that you need to know and done so that you can succeed in real estate here. So, all right, I know this was a longer video, but I wanted to share it with you. I'm Ryan Nickel, and just remember, guys, you are one deal away from changing your entire financial future. And I do it for these guys. This is who I do it for. One deal away, and we're able to go on vacations. We're able to do a lot of stuff as a family and just have the time of our lives. So go out there, make some stuff happen. Let me know what it is that you liked about this video, what you didn't like, and then, so if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button, and then also subscribe. Subscribe to my channel so you can get updates. Let me know what you're looking for. And I'll be sure to go ahead and make more information about that so that I'm actually tailoring my channel to seller financing and the needs of you as my viewers. All right, I'll talk to you all later. Bye.